Well, welcome back to First Down Focus. Nick and
Going
Owen,
on? How are you?
episode 3, Trace. Same sort of thing as last week, except Gary's on here. We're just going to cover it. Maybe next week for the Super Bowl stuff, we'll have in
We were
special
supposed to,
guests
we've supposed to have a special guest since like December, but
since the start of this.
yeah, he keeps flaking on us for football. So
It
you
is
know
what
who
it
you
is.
are if you're watching this. Please hop on the pod. You take my spot. You know so much more. But anyway, we'll get right into
We've
this.
we've got some good stuff to cover. Just want to talk, review the divisional round real quick. So Texans, Baltimore Ravens game, obvious blowout, right? We had 34-10 victory for the Ravens. I thought that was going to be closer, but Gary was on top of the ball with this one. He said they're going to win by at least even 20 plus. Roll that. We'll win by 7 to 10, if not more points.
Maybe even 20.
CJ Stroud, I thought he had subpar game. 175 yards.
He's a rookie though, so it's like you expect him to do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to expect him to put Lamar numbers up,
Agreed.
Mahomes numbers up. I still think he played amazing. For a rookie doing that, incredible.
Yeah, well, he also no picks, right? Like
No
that. I think that's what defines choking under pressure, throwing picks. And the thing is, Baltimore's defense is solid. So
they're
pretty well done. Well done. And the thing is, actually, the only touchdown was a punt return for Houston. So Houston's secondary again was pretty good.
Yeah.
Their defense just obviously it's not they weren't playing against Joe Flacco and the Browns. So tough look, but regardless of how that turned out, Lamar really looked promising to me. I know you like him. I'm starting to grow on him, and I think I'll definitely touch on that later. But he's gotten a lot of criticism come playoff time, and I thought this game was it was a statement game because he had 2 rushing and throwing touchdowns. I think he ran for 100 yards, and he only had 152 passing yards. That's all he needed to beat this Houston defense. So it'll be interesting to see next week, but I think now there's a good standard for the Texans for next year.
Yeah,
looking forward to see what happens. But it was good. It was a good playoff game. Yeah. We were watching it at the bar actually. It wasn't too bad to watch.
We had a little event that Nick and I hobbled in an Uber to get over there with all the other guys in our house and buddies. So
that was
while they were moving around with this little après ski whatever club thing. Nick and I were enjoying some old football and
it was
sitting down at the bar because we couldn't move. But wouldn't change anything for the better. It was still a great day. But end of the day, Lamar, please save us from a Patty Mahomes consistent Super Bowl.
That is what.
Please save us.
That's what a lot of people are worried about. We'll move into Green Bay 49ers real quick. Jordan Love, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, not as good of a game. Brock Purdy, 252 yards, 1 touchdown. But again, you know what? I had said last podcast with Gary, expect a big game from CMC. I said 2 tutties. Roll that shit. But I'm saying 2 tutties for my boy CMC. 2. He had 2 touchdowns, 98 rushing yards. Come on now. 2 for 2 predictions. Let's go, fellas. But honestly, that game came down to that missed field goal. We saw that shit, right?
Oh, man.
And then,
that game and the Bills game, but we'll talk about that later, too.
Yeah, but, so essentially, if the game would have been tied with 6 minutes left if that field goal went through, right?
Yep.
But then CMC ran in second tutty. So honestly, I think this game though, likewise with Houston, sets the standard for Jordan Love and Green Bay next year. I think they just actually fired their defensive coordinator, which I don't know too much about him, but
me neither, no.
I think I'd make Sir Buddy Reed happy. We'll see what happens with Green Bay next year. I'm honestly going to expect maybe 1 or 2 more wins on top of what they had. They barely squeezed into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, they were tight.
But beating the Cowboys, and yes, I get it's the Cowboys, proves though that they can play ball. So we'll see what Jordan Love, and he could be the franchise QB, I think, going forward, right?
Yep.
You can have some confidence. But that game, I was wrong. I thought that shit was gonna be a blowout. I think you probably did too. Gary definitely thought that shit was gonna be a blowout. Yeah. So tough luck on that end for us in prediction wise. Moving on, Tampa Bay, Detroit, amazing football game.
Great.
I'm no Tampa fan, but God, I was heartbroken. I loved how Baker Mayfield was this year. But it was 31-23 win for the Lions, right?
And then you got to cheer for Detroit too.
Oh, you have to. Cinderella story in the making, man. I wouldn't even say Cinderella, but this is what America wants is Ravens Lions in the finals, And right now, they are looking like they can be the team to do that. And I mean,
It's
like,
got some potential. It looks a little promising.
I'd agree.
Even Eminem's going off on Twitter and Instagram a little bit. He's kind of hyping up the Lions, saying he did it, we did it.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it happens.
I did too. And like the way Goff played, 287 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs' run game was phenomenal, 74 yards, 1 touchdown, and St. Brown had a good game, 77 yards and 1 touchdown. The way Goff utilized Jahmyr and St. Brown reception wise was fantastic too.
Incredible.
And you know what? Like, I'll give my credits to Baker Mayfield too. Like, I threw for almost 350 yards, 349, I think. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, one of which I don't think was necessarily his fault. Mike Evans bobbled it, but Mike Evans balled out too, 147 yards.
Crazy.
I was scared to bet him 40 plus yards. I was terrified.
Yeah, I think I had a bet. I needed him 50.
Yeah, like I was shaking in my boots.
Checked the phone while I was at work again.
Yeah, boom, Crazy. There you go. But Tampa Bay defense just didn't hold up that game like I thought they were going to, especially after watching how they were against the Eagles. Eagles had their injuries, so on and so forth. But I think the standard's the same. They should make. I don't think the standard this year was for them to make the playoffs, but standard should be the same. At the end of the day, though, hopefully Baker, does. He might stay. If he doesn't want to stay, I'm personally inviting you to join my Denver Broncos. I even DM'd you, Baker. But there's one thing that was kind of crazy that I noticed in the game. I saw on social media too. So after Baker threw the game-sealing interception, there's 1:33 left on the clock.
Yep.
They had 1 timeout left. The Lions were rushing. They kneel the ball. They rushed it on 4th down. They would have had a 48-yard field goal if they chose to take that timeout, stop the clock. The Lions would have had to choose between going for it on 4th down or a long field goal. If they missed that field goal, they still would have had like 30-some seconds left or 15 seconds left on the clock for Baker Mayfield, Hail Mary. And then if they were to get it, you get to go for 2 right away. So they would have had a chance to tie it.
Yeah.
But the coach didn't call it, I think, for sportsmanship reasons. And at the end of the day, he also thought the game was over, which is fair. But, if I were to be a diehard fan, I would have lost it at the coach. And that's what the media kind of questioned him too. Is you have one more chance to yes, obviously it's a 1% chance, right? But never know what one. Yeah, you go for it.
You ride.
In the playoffs, right? And honestly, speaking of going for things too, I guess we were talking about Chiefs Bills. We'll get to that. Chiefs Bills game was a good game. But they went for one crazy play at the end of the game, towards the end of the game, where they did a fake punt with Damar Hamlin. In their take it in 4th and 5. 4th and 5, and I've already said he shouldn't win my comeback player of the year. I've said that.
No, you shouldn't.
But 4th and 5 from their own 30-yard line. Why? What? I'm sorry, you are not Dan Campbell, number 1, Bills coach. Forget what your name is. You're not him. Number 2,
of all players, Damar Hamlin.
No, I thought it was publicity stunt.
I
was NFL script wrote, coach, do this right. At the end of the day, that didn't matter. But the thing is, Chiefs almost got a touchdown, but then McCole Hardman had fumbled the ball out of the end zone, so it was automatic change of possession, right?
Yeah.
But if they scored that the game would have been, they would have won by more than 7, I think now. But again, another game coming down with field goal. All I have to say is wide right.
44 yards, Bass. No, he doesn't make it.
Bills fans everywhere, heartbroken.
There was a couple death threats thrown around to Bassins.
He deleted his Instagram and all that.
Yeah, that was a little heartbreaking to see. I mean, end of the day, I get everybody's really patriotic about what team they cheer for, and
that's just too far, man.
And that's really too far. You don't have to send death threats because a guy missed a kick.
Yeah, and at the end of the day too, what people always forget, I try to shed light on it as much as possible, is these athletes are humans too. They're not robots. They're going to make mistakes. There's mistakes happen all the time, right? So I don't know. At the end of the day, I wouldn't even blame that game on that missed kick. I think there's a few things. Bills dropped a lot of balls. I thought honestly Josh Allen was lacing them perfectly to these wide receivers.
The only game this year they didn't throw an interception.
That is true. Yeah. That is right.
So you can't blame Josh Allen for that.
Yeah, actually, I don't think he did. He didn't last week either.
Oh,
so he's on fire in the playoffs with no interceptions. So sorry, we said last week that was a lock to bet on, but it wasn't.
Sorry, guys.
But no, that's actually a good point. I thought Josh was all right. He only threw for 186 yards, but he he literally laced the balls right in the
Perfect.
and right in the hands, and these guys bobbled everything.
Yeah.
But some of his choices for throws I thought were a little shaky.
Questionable.
Like it'd be 2nd and 10, and he'd throw a 50-yard bomb to the end zone. But there's one ball he missed like massively. It just doesn't make sense. So I don't know. Sometimes I thought there's some drop balls in crucial moments, and Josh Allen's choice of who to throw to wasn't that great. But I thought Chiefs once again when it comes to playoff time proved that they're them. And that as much as for next round, the just Chiefs are Chiefs, man. It's fucking Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, hell of a coach, right? You got Travis Kelce,
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, fuck. That's a thing. That's what I'm thinking. Is they want Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl, so the Chiefs somehow are gonna bribe the refs or whatever to get there. But honestly, let's cut the shit. Like Baltimore Chiefs next round. It's going to be one hell of a game. One hell of a game, and I'm so done watching the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I'm tired of it.
America is the world.
Please help us, man.
We're done.
Yeah, it's been too much.
We're done.
Last 3 years, I think, whatever.
My only, really, even though Lamar's on MVP season, we've seen it in the past, my only concern is Lamar cannot outduel Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I think in the throwing game he won't, but it'll be interesting to see how he utilizes the run, because I don't think Kansas's run defense is that great, but Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Dude does magical shit in the playoffs.
Yep.
And if the it's not Bills. If Chiefs lose, it's going to be by 3. I think it's going to be a super close game. But the thing is, Baltimore's defense is significantly better than the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if they can hold it up. But it's Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry. I don't want. I'm picking the team who I think is going to win.
Chiefs, no.
I'm not cheering for them. I'm picking the team that's going to win, and I think it's going to be the Chiefs. I feel like I can't. Yeah. My gut's telling me that, but my heart and brain are saying no, Nick, baby, don't pick them. I want the Ravens so badly. I really want Lamar to win this shit, but I think to me, I have to hit Chiefs, man.
End of the day, it's going to be obviously a really great game. We know it's not going to be a blowout, hopefully, but I'd really love to see Lamar in the finals there.
I do too. I really don't want to see Patrick Mahomes again. But at the end of the day, that's got to be some sort of history book stuff, because he's guy's almost gone there every year of his career. It's actually crazy. It's like Golden State going to the finals every year.
There? With the color of the Super Bowl logo.
Oh yeah. So is it purple and red though? So everyone's assuming that's Ravens 49ers. Yeah, and then next year's is purple and green, so people are thinking Ravens Seahawks. I saw that. I saw the post about that.
Yeah.
But that's not bad.
Was a Canadian news station that headlined something about Usher performing at the Ravens versus 49ers Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, so there's something on. Yeah, there's a news channel that said Usher will be performing at the upcoming Super Bowl between Baltimore and the 49ers, something like that. We'll try and find that so we can throw it up there.
You can find it everywhere. We'll post a picture, but it was a live feed.
Yeah, it was. So it was interesting. It's interesting. Script writing might be a thing. I don't want to start some rumors.
Of all major sports, the NFL, I would put money on that it's scripted.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Yeah. I think Roger Goodell's got some shit cooking up. But moving on, the other side, San Fran, Detroit. God damn. San Fran looked terrible. We saw it. They looked terrible, really, against Green Bay. And, I'm thinking that's a wake-up call. And I wonder for the Lions how much being at home helped them in the first 2 games. I don't know. I feel like home crowd advantage in the NFL, especially for a team like Bills or Lions, is huge compared to any other team. And because
they're 2 diehard.
Yeah,
I've never met. The guy that we were supposed to have on, our good buddy Owen, is the biggest diehard Bills fan I've ever met.
Sports fan, I just say in general.
He flew down to Miami to watch the Bills game.
Yeah.
Middle of the school year, just flew down, skipped a week of school. I've never seen anybody that I personally know do that, so.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what you'll do. And that's what I was just about to say. Think about if the Bills were to have moved on to the Chiefs, I bet you half that stadium in Baltimore would be Bills fans. Fans would so that's what I'm saying. I wonder if Detroit fans would do that going to San Francisco. I mean, it'll be like slightly warmer climate, which was, not bad for either team.
Yeah.
I just, I'm going to pick San Fran just because it's just, sure, it's slightly the bandwagon pick, but it's really only because of CMC. Detroit's run defense isn't that great, and like Debo's hurt, so I think that Debo got hurt, and he's questionable to play. But if he plays and actually too, the 3 games that they didn't have him this regular season, they lost all 3, and they scored the lowest point totals in all 3 of those games, 17 each game.
Ooh, so interesting games. So 2 really interesting games Sunday.
Yeah,
no matter what.
I think Baltimore Chiefs is going to be closer than San Fran Detroit.
Yeah.
I'm trusting CMC a lot to, just kind of go off a little bit. But honestly, who knows? It's just, it's going to come down to defense. San Fran's got the better defense. San Fran offense is not necessarily better, but they have more weapons.
Yeah.
That's all I'd be really concerned about for the Lions. But other than those, for Super Bowl, we'll see. We can make our picks next week. We can make our picks now. I think you've got them on the. We'll throw them on the IG. We'll do both our picks. I just shed some light quickly on some coaching stuff I've been seeing.
Yeah, I know. Who you're talking about here.
There's some Bill Belichick news that's been circling around. He's had 2 interviews now with the Falcons, and I was talking to our friend Adam, who's a huge Patriots fan. He was. I'm not sure hoping. I think he was necessarily thinking that he was going to be a broadcaster, which I honestly would think is great because that guy's cool. To pick that guy's brain for a ESPN broadcast, even just once, or for a documentary, would be phenomenal, right? So I don't, or like see him do something like, Eli and Peyton Manning do their like thing on Sunday Night Footballs. Like for him to do something like that, I think that'd be fun. But we'll see kind of where he turns out. He's apparently met with LA too now, I believe, the Chargers.
And Atlanta too, right?
Yeah, and Atlanta. And Jim Harbaugh is meeting with the Falcons now for the second time, which shocks me because I thought dude's got his mindset on LA, big city, right?
Keep his options open.
Yeah, you might as well see what you get offered, right? And I think Michigan's still reaching out to him too to try and keep him, which makes sense. But we'll see. I still hope he does go to LA. Just just to me, it's a better fit. You got Justin Herbert too. Yeah. He did great things with J.J. McCarthy. He's not a stud. Like I wouldn't say he's a really good quarterback out of this class coming up, but he can do really good things with Justin Herbert. So it'll be interesting. And then the Eagles now have parted ways too with their offensive coordinator. So they only put up 9 points in the divisional round.
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah. Makes complete sense. Fair. So we'll see. I don't know. There's just a lot of coaching jobs are open. I feel like this has been like the biggest year for that, where just coordinators are getting fired. Like I mentioned, Packers coordinator got fired today. Eagles now coaches. Titans coaches also apparently rumored to be kind of going into the LA space too, or Falcons. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. But honestly, other than that, that's all I feel like we've really got for football.
We've talked about a lot with football and the other 2 podcasts there, hockey and NBA too, right? So
a lot of good things.
We just gotta wait and see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday's big day. I think 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, something like that. So kind of earlier games, but Sunday I can tell you I will not be moving my ass off this couch. I will be watching that football religiously. We'll post both our picks. Hopefully, if you want to do picks this week, 100%. Post both our picks on our social media for who we've got winning. Just stay tuned for some more stuff, more podcasts, probably stuff next week. See, football's kind of slowing down, so we'll see what we can really do with football. Next week might kind of be the last one for a bit, maybe. We'll see. We'll discuss, and we'll keep posting on social media. But thank you guys again for watching another episode of First Down Focus. See you guys next week.